I don't know why watching you jumping around in the boat being attacked by a swarm of hornets, wasps, or bees gives me pleasure. I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
Well, and I didn't realize. I mean, when that happened, I had my chesty cam on, my camera in the rear, and I didn't realize I actually got the wasps on video as they were flying in attack mode. So yeah, it was interesting to say the least, and I know better than that. So, but anyway, yeah, I got attacked.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't know you still had them kind of moves left in you.
Yeah, well, maybe when we come back from the break, we'll roll a little bit of that footage. It is pretty good comic relief, especially after last week's ordeal and everything that went on and all that. Maybe we need a little bit of comic relief.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So, comic relief this week. What's it going to be this week? What else are we going to talk about? I mean, we're not going to talk about Vernon Parish CCS. We talked about that last week. No, we're not beating that
Mm,
dead horse again.
oh no, I am updating that. It's one of those weeks where I am just halfway prepared, sorta, kinda, and so I'm sliding at the last minute type deal.
Well,
Um,
that's perfectly fine. We have slid a lot of nights. I mean, look, I was supposed to be in Illinois tonight speaking to over 200 people, if you can believe that. Somebody wanted me to come speak to them. And then again on Thursday to about another 100 people. But yet, here I am. I have
well,
loyalties to my brethren here in Bossier.
but wait a minute, you're only halfway here.
That's a good point. Well, I mean,
You're only half. I mean, I know we're kind of half-assed on this show anyway, as far as getting prepared and being amateurs. But hey,
eh,
that's better. Now we
well,
have the whole Duke.
maybe I should have just went to Illinois.
Well, let's see if we got anybody watching. We're up to about 30 people. I see Charlie and Judy. Hello. Mark Crouch is here. Hello. He's been a pretty avid listener for a little while. Val Baker, of course, is here. And, there's 20 something people that are, they just like to kind of lurk and listen to us. They may or may
Yeah.
not comment, and that's okay too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we're gonna go down the Benton thing. We had it queued up for we had a little bit of stuff for last show, but that ran long, so we didn't cover that. We're gonna cover the Benton stuff, some
Yeah.
updated stuff tonight. But Bossier City, more money, more money, more money. And just for some reason, it just doesn't seem like there's enough money floating around in Bossier City, and they need more.
Well, yeah, so we had two meetings today, the city council meeting, then a budget workshop. Of course, no action was taken official action was taken at the budget workshop. So I've got a few notes together for the city council meeting. I'll try not to drag on the Benton stuff too long, so we can cover some of the city council meeting. And then I just made a couple of quick notes at the workshop because the workshop went on over an hour. So by the time they got done, we really hadn't had time to analyze it. But our good friend Jeff Sadow did release an article. I've scanned down it. I threw a couple of notes in there uh, in the show notes, and we can just kind of wing it, and maybe go over a little bit of that. So why don't we go ahead and go to the break? When we come out of the break, I want to demonstrate my previously unknown ninja skills, and then we'll get into politics. How about that?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit the countdown button, folks. Y'all know the drill. Tag, share, text folks. Let them know we'll be talking for at least a little while tonight. We will be right back in, I don't know, 2.5, 3 minutes, whatever it actually is, and well, we'll go from ninja skills straight into politics.
If folks knew a lot of the back office on the politicians that they think walk on water, they would be shocked. There's an old wound from a knife in my back that just is giving me heck lately, and it's just really irritating. So I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit.
I titled it "A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boys."
Just, they feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
Some Republicans as well believe that government has the answers. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know anything government does well. Nothing.
And aren't there laws that say that you have public meetings so that the public can have accountability of their elected officials?
As a member of the media, I'm very concerned about what I've just heard.
Well, I'm not thinking Star Wars at all. I'm thinking zombie apocalypse.
Oh, folks coming from the border down there?
Yeah, it's going to border. It's actually going to Mexico, buses.
Doesn't mean they interpret it the same way that I do. For instance, the Second Amendment. I take it very literally. That's been interpreted different ways in the court system all the way up to SCOTUS.
We're still right now combined on both pages and YouTube at 264 people watching. That is amazing, folks. Through conscious shocking actions, which in turn would enrich sitting city council members Scott Irwin and David Montgomery Jr. In theory, you know, it's an every week thing. We got to double check and make sure it's like a miracle any of this actually works. This live broadcast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. SmarterGeek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go. And here we are again. I don't know, you know, I'm going to try towards the end of the year to redo the intro and add some, you know, more current stuff into it, but it's just so hard to redo that intro. That Darth Vader and you wearing the mask is just great.
Yeah, you know, ooh, boy, you just prompted me on something. Golly. Man,
Spit it out.
what happened to the jab and, you know, the masks and all these things being disproved and happening? I mean, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
There's a lot of stuff going on. Tucker Carlson just released a video series that he's doing on 9/11. He's dredging some of that back up. Very interesting stuff. It's almost tinfoil hat if it wasn't actual facts. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Well, did you hear about the press conference that Trump and RFK had where they about Tylenol?
What was that today?
It was today or it was yesterday? I think it was either
well, I was eating lunch today with a buddy of mine, and we were sitting there and we were wondering why everybody was watching the TV screens with Trump on there. And I was like, well, he's at the UN, he's meeting with Zelensky or whatever. Maybe that was what everybody, I mean, like everybody in the restaurant except for us was plugged into those televisions.
Yeah, well, apparently there's some kind of link to Tylenol, and as a result, all the stores started selling out of Tylenol.
Is this like toilet paper now? I mean,
no, I found a link. I got it. It's the first thing in our notes right there. I mean, as soon as Trump and RFK started talking about Tylenol, I mean, all the liberals went out and started buying Tylenol. They bought it all up.
Well, Trump is such a great salesman. I mean, in spite of everything that people may think about it. All right, so let me switch screens for just a second, folks. Y'all bear with me as usual. I am not completely on my game tonight, but here we go. Yeah, there we go. Is that the video?
I just want to show everybody that I'm not lying. I mean, Trump starts talking about Tylenol being bad and causing disease and stuff, and it's what the.
Here we go. Well, all right. So that just reminds me. Do you remember was it cyanide-laced Tylenol scare and all that back in was it the 80s that happened, early 90s? You know, when, oh my good, I think it was in the 80s, and that's when everything in the world, including ketchup, got, you know, the little safety stuff over it and all that.
Yeah, I remember that, definitely.
Yeah. Is this one of those deals, or he's?
Well, they came out and they started talking about how there's a connection to like the vaccines and different things, and the autism thing, and they were saying, it they said, explain, if you're saying that none of those things are what's causing it, then explain to us why it is that, in like the Amish, they have like zero autism. And you know what makes it interesting about them? They don't take any vaccines.
Well, all right. So, we've discussed this before, and I'm not anti vaccine. I want to make that perfectly clear. I'll never take the COVID shot again. Did that once, and that was arguably worse than getting COVID, but that's a whole other story. So I'm not anti vaccine, but I will say this. And as far as the autism goes, it just seems to me that obviously there was autism and people on the spectrum. I'm going to just loosely say in the 80s and 70s, 80s, and 90s, okay? But it didn't seem, and I'm just pulling this anecdotally out of my rear end, but it didn't seem to me like there was as much autism or diagnosed autism back then. Now, the argument can be made, oh, well, now they're able to better diagnose it. Well, I don't remember any of my friends or anybody in the schools I knew of that even appeared to be on the spectrum. And look, I've got some relatives that are kind of on the spectrum deal. So I just don't remember this. Am I crazy, or has there been that drastic of an increase? And if there is that drastic of an increase, what's caused it?
Well, I think that's what they're trying to say, is they're trying to say that some of this, oh, you got to have this shot or that shot or whatever, and there you increase your risks of having it. I'll give you another example. I have a friend that had a surgery, and don't get me wrong, when you have surgeries, people have clots and things like
Yeah,
this, but
things
this
happen.
is a person about our age that has a surgery, and we're not talking about a cardiovascular, we're talking about like an orthopedic type surgery, and within a week of the surgery is having clots all down in his legs, not once after having it removed, not twice after having them removed, but even a third time. And we're talking about clots that are to a foot to 2 foot in length in major vessels in their legs. And they were a person that had the clot shots, they had the COVID shots, and it really kind of struck me when I'm all right. I knew about the story, but I'm hearing this story, and then I'm hearing this about what Trump and them and RFK were doing today, talking about the autism link, and as a result, let's say these kids got their vaccines, and then all of a sudden they've got autism, and then now they got to be on these other meds for the rest of their life. Well, guess what? On this clot thing, now this friend of mine, he's going to have to take thinner medicine for the rest of his life. I mean, it
Well,
almost makes you wonder if you're getting the vaccines to put you in this category to have to take other medicines and spend money on other medicines for the rest of your life.
well, there's that quote, correlation is not always causation, but sometimes it is. That's kind of the part that everybody forgets. So yeah, look, I'm no doctor. I just know it seems like there's a lot of, and look, well, I don't know. There's a lot of things that our society has shifted into in the last, I'm just picking a time frame, but last 20, 25 years that just doesn't seem like it was prevalent in my younger years, which I happen to remember fairly well. And when you go back and you look this stuff up, the history, there's, I don't know. It's crazy. Hey, speaking of getting shots and jabs, would you like to see me get jabbed?
Oh yeah, I would take much pleasure in watching that.
Well, let me set the context for this. So, I'm gonna, while we're talking, I'm sitting here rolling the video up so we don't have to watch the fishing part of it. So this was a recent fishing trip I made to Caddo Lake, And, you know, one thing about fishing Caddo Lake, you have to pay close attention to the cypress trees. And so let me switch the video over here and you'll see why.
Climbs on highly pressured.
Oh shit.
I figured you might like that. And I'm going to stop it right there. So you see in that bush right there, you can barely kind of see it. But I'm usually very good. There's the wasp nest, that little white dot with all those little dark shadows. I'm usually very good about paying attention when I get close to trees because I'm not afraid of many things in life, but red wasps are one of the things I am a little fearful of. And what was I doing? Paying attention to my darn phone. And I got popped because one of them did get me on the arm.
It wasn't me that was texting you, was it?
It may very well have been. I'll blame it on you, Mr. Lowry.
Because that might make me laugh a little harder.
But anyway, I thought everybody might enjoy that. Of course, I shared it out on the outdoor news and blah, blah, blah and all that. But there we go. So see, I got to poke a little humor and fun sometimes in serious subjects.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So, you know, rough week, you know, Charlie Kirk thing. You know, I watched that myself, and you know, I mean, man, Erica Kirk, wow, that's just
She's
wow.
And did you see? Well, the big thing to me was she gave a great, I guess you would call it presentation, memorial, you know, speech and all that. And she's definitely very, very powerful. Did you see the number of people that were there? I think that stadium held like 60,000, and I think it was maybe standing room over only into the overflow. I don't know what the official count was, but that speaks to just how powerful his voice was and still is.
Yeah, it was amazing, and it was run over crowd out on the outside. I mean, I think they were talking about how the spillover thing was 20 or 30,000 people or something like that. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. Val Baker, 95,000. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, you know who probably wasn't there?
Ooh. Who?
We haven't made fun of him in a while. Now, Governor Landry was there, but I don't think MJ was there.
No, he was there. Yep.
Oh, was he? Well, I think,
Yeah,
you know, I was thinking this whole continuity of government thing, you know, they've got, you got to have somebody because you had Trump and Vance there. So, I mean, literally, you had most of the upper echelons of our government hierarchy there. You know, I mean, I'm sure they had ridiculously good security for that. I know they were, you know, the speakers were all behind bulletproof glass, but still, have all three of them there, that's kind of taking a risk, but I guess they figured it was worth it.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. You know, and today you had Trump or the United Nations meeting, and they're you know, all the, you know, New World government, New World Order people were all saying, you know, oh, 2 states, Palestine, and all this stuff. And, you know, have you seen the videos? Trump walks in the building and the escalator stops right as soon as he steps on the escalator. And then he gets to the podium and the teleprompter just mysteriously stops. But it didn't stop him. I got a little cut if you wanted to play it, but it doesn't matter.
Let's play that. Well, you know, I think Trump's the kind of guy that if the escalator stopped, he would just keep walking. And if the teleprompter stopped, he certainly does not need the teleprompter to talk. He can talk incessantly.
You'd be right on both points. Watch what he had to say about it.
All right, so let me hit the play button here. We should have volume. Here we go.
I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen, but she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the two things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter.
Is that not classic?
That is awesome. That is hilarious. That must have been what everybody was watching today. Okay, the news on that. Yeah.
Yeah, no way that was in his notes. I mean,
wow. That's hilarious. So, all right. Let's dive off into this. So we kind of ran out of time last week, and we did for those of you that weren't watching, we did the show Thursday night because Tuesday night was the first Bossier memorial service for Charlie Kirk that a lot of us went to. Both Duke and I went to it. Anyway, so we did a show Thursday night, and a lot of it was, on Charlie Kirk and all that. So we didn't get to the Benton Town Circus, as I'm calling it. So I figured we'd talk about that tonight a little bit. Let me get that queued up. It'll take me just a minute or so, and I'll kind of, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because honestly, it's some of the same old stuff that they really, really need to get straightened out up there. But there were a couple of interesting points that I'll try to highlight. So let me hit the button here and see if I can switch screens. Okay. So one thing that I discovered, and thank you for discovering that for me, Mr. Lowry, was that we already had talked about and knew that the town of Benton has the equipment to live stream. They just don't do it. And they actually record not just the audio, but the video of all their meetings too. And graciously provided us a copy of that, which saves me from necessarily having to drive up there, and video the meetings, which I don't mind doing. I mean, got a cool camera and cool audio setup and all that, but still, that takes time. So we got a copy of this meeting, and Mr. Friday was testing out the mics first thing. So let me get us a little extra volume here. We won't need much because we got good audio. All right, here we go.
Hello, hello, hello.
Obviously, this is before the meeting. I just thought it was cute. So, look, I want to make sure and put this out there that what I say about the mayor or any of the aldermen / council people or anybody, it's political with them. I think Mr. Friday's a nice guy. I think all of them are nice guy. I think Stephanie is a nice person up there, the town clerk. So I hope none of them take this personally. If I have a personal beef with somebody and political, I have no problem saying it. But I think Mr. Friday is a nice guy. I really don't think he means any harm, and we'll kind of see this in some of these comments. But anyway, so they call the meeting to order, and I'm going to jump right in and let him explain the bid law. So here we go. Now, again, this was a workshop. So from, what day was that? The 15th. So here we go. And just stop at any point, Mr. Lowry, if you've got some commentary.
One is the water system improvement project with Core in Maine. Now, y'all had asked me about other people to make bids and stuff on it. All right, according to the bid law, unless it's over $250,000, it's not required. And this is from the Baylor that works with that. And then the procedure on the back for the under RS 38-221-2A, All contracts for public works exceeding the contract threshold of $250,000 must be advertised for bid and let for contract with the lowest responsible and responsive bidder.
Do you notice who is not there?
Well, I can't see if Stephanie is to the left, but
Well, she is there, but it should be blatantly obvious who usually sits beside the mayor.
no attorney.
No attorney. And not just because it was a workshop meeting. We've been told that apparently Neil Irwin resigned, quit, I don't know, won the lottery, whatever. And I guess they have a new town attorney hired, or I don't know, maybe they're taking applications. So, hey, we play Facebook attorneys. Maybe we should apply.
Well, is that the first time or the second time? I mean, I don't know.
What's that song? Same song, 10th verse, could get better, but gonna get worse.
But either way, I still stand by, up to maybe the last meeting that I had saw that, I didn't feel like they were getting their money's worth out of the attorney. They should have been helping them. I stand by that. I still believe that.
I think you're 100% correct. All right, so let's continue on for a minute or so.
The legislature auditor recommends that the contracts for the public works valued at $250,000 or less be administered through a request for proposal, RFP, process or solicitation of less than 3 bids, even though this statute does not require them to bid. So now, this is for Core and Main. Y'all had already approved the tower situation for the communication.
Let's see.
And now the equipment coming up for the communication with Core and Main, y'all ask about other bids and stuff. So I called with them at the engineering group, and this is strictly an upgrade on the infrastructure, as I tried to explain to that one night.
Now, let me stop right there, because I made a comment somewhere on Facebook that some ladies needed to do their homework. That was a general comment that I made. And what I mean by that is, at one of the prior meetings, this question of whether this fell under bid law came up. I think Neil wasn't paying attention. I think he was on Facebook on his phone, whatever he was doing, so I don't remember him answering it. But either way, I would say this. Knowing it's okay to ask about bid law questions, but if you're a council person or an alder person and you have questions about a bid that is coming up or has been done in a council meeting, it might be a little incumbent upon yourself to look up the state bid law. I mean, Duke, you and I rarely have people hand us information. We have to, for the most part, go out and do our own research and try to figure this out. Every now and then we have people we collaborate with and, hey, do you know something about this? But I'm just saying, whether it's the mayor, whether it's Stephanie, or whether it's the alder persons, some of this stuff, it's not incumbent upon the mayor or the town clerk to spoon feed you. So I wanted to make that crystal clear. Do you agree, Mr. Lamb?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, that's part of debate, and look, we see it all the time in Bossier City, and you even see it in Shreveport. And if you get to a impasse, so say somebody declares that this is how many times have we seen people get into arguments with the city attorney? The city attorney will declare that this is the fact. The council person or elected official will say, no, actually, I read this. You have a dispute, and you kind of at an impasse. That's why a lot of times people have parliamentarians, because a parliamentarian is allegedly has more knowledge than the people that may be debating and would settle that. Well, your city attorneys usually are supposed to be your parliamentarians, but unfortunately these days we see in city governments, those attorneys aren't necessarily I'm going to say unbiased and acting in the role of a parliamentarian, they actually are trying to steer things a little bit.
Yes.
So I wouldn't always take the city attorney's, position on something as being the case. Viva voce.
Yeah.
There's your
Yeah.
prime example.
Well, and not just that. I mean, we've got ended up being really popular clip of Jacob saying that the Bossier City Council doesn't follow Robert's Rules of Order, and then you and I excoriated him on our next show, pointing out where the city had officially adopted Robert's Rules of Order while Jacobs was the city attorney. So, I mean, yeah, you can't always, just because they're a lawyer or former judge or whatever, assume they still have an agenda, and you can't always believe it. All right. So the next interesting quote is from Mr. Friday. A little interesting dialogue right here. Here we go.
Y'all keep putting this off for some reason or another, and it's not helping the town at all, because it's for the infrastructure, for the communication of the water system that's already in the ground.
Mr. Friday.
Yes, ma'am.
Now this is where the dialogue goes back and forth a little bit. Ms. Carr brings up a good point. So what he was talking about is, they had the guys speak at the last meeting or whatever about these radio towers for the wireless meter reading and all that, and the council didn't take any action then. So Mr. Friday is kind of, I don't know, it's slightly passive aggressive. This isn't that bad, but I would just encourage him. If I was sitting there, I would have probably said what he said, but that wouldn't be the best case for the mayor to do. So he may need to tone down his passive aggressiveness, because Ms. Carr has a good response here.
For lack of a better word, some phrases. What do you mean we keep putting it off? I mean, if we ask you a question during the meetings, you don't even have to answer us. If we had everything that we needed.
Well, I did. I told you it was for infrastructure last time, and then we've had to work
about a bid, and you didn't even know. So we're not just putting it off to be holding up the town. As aldermen, we do our due diligence too.
Yes, ma'am. I understand what you're...
And she has a good point there, is that, now, I will, again, like I said, as far as what the bid laws are of the state, it's not up to the mayor to inform the alder persons about that. They should do their own research or consult with the town attorney if necessary and say, hey, what are the bid laws of the state? But she does have a good point that, look, the alder people are elected to represent their constituents, and they absolutely need to ask questions. And speaking of questions, Ms. Jerry Castellani has a question. She says, but the public can ask about the bid law history on a specific project. So I'm not really sure what you're asking, Ms. Jerry. Maybe clarify a little bit. The public can ask about it. Honestly, in the comment period, the council or nor any of them are required to answer you. They're only required to allow you to comment. And if it falls under public bid law and needs to be bid out, then, maybe like the Bossier City Council, they post it with the agenda. Some government bodies do, some don't. So anyway, that's my little soapbox on that. What say you, Mr. Lowry? I saw you texting furiously.
I say let's keep rolling.
Okay.
You may not believe this, but I'm literally, while I'm on the show with you guys, I'm getting a message requesting something regarding legislation in DC. Yeah.
Oh,
believe it or not, little old piddly Annie me, and no, it's not walk on water messaging.
See, I was just going to ask that question. Did MJ text you to let you know he did attend the Charlie Kirk Memorial?
I knew you were going there. No. We are not peas and carrots. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so here we go. I'll proceed on.
This is for open discussion for all of us tonight, to see what y'all want to do. And I've sent y'all a group text on what I thought we might want to do. if you guys want
Did
to,
you catch
or
that?
ladies would like to.
I did not.
He just said, I sent y'all a group text. So, Mr. Friday, just to let you know, those text messages are subject to public information requests. And you have to be careful if you're sending everybody a group text, because that might be construed as a walking quorum type situation. Be very careful with that, Mr. Friday. You need to look up in the frequently asked questions for open meetings law, or ask your whoever's going to be the town attorney about walking quorums and what that actually means. All right, here we go.
And I also have a, this is on my water bill, as far as current rates.
So he brought an illustration.
What my water bill was. Now, on the current rates, now this is my current water bill. I use.
All right, we're not gonna listen to all that. I'm gonna jump ahead to Miss Manning. She has a question about that water bill.
So,
the question I have is, why are we revisiting this when we've already had a workshop and we was ready to vote? So is there any changes?
We haven't voted on it. There's no changes. We keep working on it, because when y'all ask something or another, we try to come up with some ideas. We're coming up with the ideas. I haven't heard any of y'all come up with any new ideas on how to
there goes that
what to do about the increase from Benton. I mean, from Bossier to us at all.
So
we're trying to figure out what we need to do. We're paying for the water, which is 97 cents, I believe it is, per 1,000 gallons. And so with that, we're gonna leave the flat rate like it was, and then next time we have a meeting, we'll vote on what we need to do, either increase the water or.
Let me jump ahead just a little bit here. We'll go.
We had the opportunity to have it on this month's agenda, but we didn't. That's why we didn't vote on it. Let me make that clear. Because this could have been on this could have been on September's the 8th agenda, but it wasn't. And we're having another workshop on it based on what merit. What are you telling us different?
Okay. All right.
I think they changed the
a lack of understanding is the way I see it right now. So, I mean, we provide the numbers for you. We ask y'all to help us figure this out, and you keep throwing endos at us as far as, well,
endos.
What are we doing this for?
Well,
we're trying to explain to you why it needs to be done, because the town operates on its water bill.
Well, we know that.
Well, then
the question is, so we won't, get sideways from what we're focused on tonight, is there anything different that you want to present to this board from what we were given in August? Yes or no?
Yes, there is.
Okay, where is it? Because we don't have it.
You tell me.
We don't have it, Mayor.
Did you hear that? Yes, he has something different to present. Manning asks, well, where is it? And his retort is, well, you tell me. That's what I'm talking about, James Friday. Stop that. You're just egging them on. There's already tension there, and you've got to learn a little more diplomacy and learn how to phrase things a little more on the passive side and a little less on the aggressive side. What do you say, Mr. Lowry? I mean, we're both kind of hot-tempered, but we're both also diplomatic when we have to be, for the most part.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, we kind of already knew that, and I think probably he even knows that. So I don't think this is nothing new and earth-shattering.
Yeah, that is true. All right, so let's see Mark Crouch's comments. So Mark was in our comments just a few minutes ago. So, Mr. Crouch, you are on the hot seat. Here we go.
Old Planting Road, Benton, Louisiana. Mayor, in last month's meeting, you stated there was 1,255 water meters that y'all are estimating the bill every month. And you stated there was about, 2,600 meters in the city limits of Benton?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that.
Okay. This deal that y'all wanting to pass with this company, and from what
wait a minute. Wait. You're on something different now.
No, I'm talking about Baylor.
They're the engineer group, but they have nothing to do with the water rate. We're talking about water rate right now. You're on something different. You're gonna have to stay with what we're on now. We done passed that, but we're on item number 2, which is the water rates. So what's your comment on the water rates?
Okay.
So advice to Mark Krauser, anybody for that matter. What you do is answer his question by restating what he just says, and then just twist that comment back into what you were originally trying to do anyway. But instead, Mark did this.
I'm going to go ahead and put it on record that we do not need a water rate increase at this time due to the economy, and everybody's struggling, including all of y'all and me and everybody out in the audience, to pay their bills. And these tariffs that President Trump has created.
No, they got nothing to do with our water
tariff's fault. So, first of all, yeah, you can make the argument that people are struggling and all that. Something's got to be done about the water bills, because according to their previous meetings and all that, and what we've listened to so far, and what they've said on record, the town already takes a loss on the water rates. And now that Bossier has increased the rates, the town is going to be taking a bigger loss. But Mark wanted to blame the tariffs. I guess you could make the argument for that. I don't know. I mean, maybe the water flows through Chinese meters, and now that the tariffs are in place, I don't know.
How Trump's tariffs are entering into Benton politics and water rates, I got no idea here.
Okay.
I'm at a loss.
All right, so appreciate you, Mark. Be a little more prepared in your comments in the future, and it can be more effective. All right, so I'm going to jump ahead a couple of minutes. Miss Perry, the other council or alderwoman, has a good question here. So here we go.
For understanding, just like Miss Stephanie had, you guys presented the numbers the last time. That's what we're looking for this time. It was great. It was a great presentation. Mm-hmm. So we could have it in front of us to see. Not only for us to see, but the constituents could be able to see what you're saying. So everybody has different learning styles. Everybody's understanding is different. I'm writing it down because I'm trying to make sure that I understand it. So when you're wanting somebody to understand something, do what you can to make them understand it, and the presentation would be fine of whatever you have. You're basing it off of what your water bill
now listen
would be.
To this.
Yes, that's great. But just to have some numbers.
Ms. Perry's doing a great job
I think
of
that's the bottom
addressing
line.
her
That's the
issue.
point everybody is trying to make.
Listen.
The thing was put on the website. I don't recall hearing the phone ring at all about somebody saying they wanted this information in front of them, because we would have provided it for you. We would have provided anything that you asked for. We have been doing that, and we'll continue to do it.
Did you hear that? I mean, I know you're busy taking care of business there, but her question was about providing information. His response was, well, we put it on the website, so you should just have to basically proactively go get it yourself. It's the same thing as him telling Miss Manning over there, you tell me. This is the problem. I mean, again, I think there's blame in the circus to go pretty much around the town hall there. But it starts with the mayor, because right now, until the alder persons step up and change the ordinances and the way that those meetings are conducted, right now they're at Mr. Friday's mercy. So, I don't know.
Sounds
Miss
like
Jerry.
it.
Yeah, Miss Jerry's got another question. She said, did the mayor ask for public comment on agenda item number 1 before they moved to number 2? I'd have to go back and look, Miss Jerry. I didn't catch whether he did or did not. Based on his past history, probably not. All right, here we go. Let me skip up just a little bit ahead, a couple of more minutes, and we've got a question about the 5% increase. All right, here we go.
Don't know me anyway, because I was here months ago when he went over the, I guess, the 24 numbers, because the water department was in 23 they went in the hole, 24 they went in the hole. So is any of this amount going to keep or prevent the water department from going in the hole this year, possibly? This increase, will that help that any at all?
As many blowouts as we have, I mean, I don't know if anybody's been by the courthouse. There's a whole new line put in down there. I think I've got a $30,000 bill that come from Pullet from working on 4 different water sections of town here in the last month.
Because I know that the CPA that was here that went over the audit
Yes.
suggested a 5% increase to the water bill every year for the next 5 years.
Did you hear that, Mr. Lowry? Do you get your water from Benton, from the town?
Well, the CBB.
Okay. Well,
yeah, it's not the.
Yeah, not the town of Benton. All right. Well, anyway, so CPA had recommended a 5% increase every year.
And she said that wouldn't even catch up to us not being in the hole annually. So I'm
Yes,
just
ma'am.
trying to
She
figure
did
out.
that.
So is everyone else aware of that? I mean, I know everyone up here should
Yes,
be,
ma'am.
but
She
if
has the
everyone else.
book. She didn't have her book. She was absent that night. She has the audit book there in front of her now.
Because, I mean, for me, I'm a numbers person and just.
All right. So I'm going to skip ahead again, and let's talk about that in the whole comment.
Want to make it clear too that I don't think we're going in the hole is the right terminology, because we have revenue coming in. So I don't think that, Ms. Perry, I don't think that we will ever be without revenue coming into the water department funds. So
No, it has money coming in. There's no
Yeah.
doubt there's money in the town, but your budget, you're over your budget numbers. 23 was 40,000 and 24 was 80-something thousand.
So what that interchange there or exchange there was about is Miss Manning was saying that there was always going to be revenue coming in. She was trying to kind of deflect the in the hole comment, and Stephanie rightfully was correcting her that yes, there's revenue coming in, but the expenditures are greater than the revenue, therefore it's operating in the red, or basically in the hole, at least on the water side. So anyway, again, it just goes to my comment about everybody needs to do their homework before they come to these meetings. And it would help if they had a city attorney sitting there to help clarify some of these statements.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this just seems like more of the same.
Yeah,
if you want to add.
It is, and I'm honestly not going to go through this whole thing. We've got this meeting posted on Bossier Watch. It's already well north of 2,000 or 3,000 views by now, so a lot of people have seen it, and it's been shared out quite a bit. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing. All right, here we go. So I'm going to jump way ahead, and Miss Carr and Stephanie Collier both get in a pretty heated discussion. So I'm going to jump up to that. Here we go.
In the 9 years that I've sat here, me and you, we have never had words. When you and Mr. Friday came to my house unannounced, I invited you all in, and we had a conversation. And it's just like the minute you all left, you just threw that conversation out the door. I told you that it's not personal. It is business. Stephanie, we never had any hard words spoken between us. So I'm not really sure what type of time you on with all of this.
I don't know what you're talking about. Threw it out the window because I didn't know how.
I didn't say anything throwing out the but Stephanie, you and the mayor, y'all came to my home and we had a great conversation. But then when we get to these meetings and we ask you something, you seem to like get agitated with us.
Go ahead.
No, we've already played this. It's like I'm having deja vu. I remember this. I remember this before.
No, they've had the back and forth.
This is almost verbatim of another conversation.
Yes, it is. But the good part is coming up here in about one to minute, maybe a minute and a half. Just listen. Yeah, but you're right. It is deja vu because very similar conversations have already happened.
Because it's not personal when it's insinuated that the rate increase is a cover-up for misuse of funds. When that's stated in such a broad statement in public on record without any kind of factual documentation, and then it gets carried away publicly on Facebook and every other social media platform out there. Thank you, Ms. Manning. You're shaking your head yes, as if you know what I'm talking about.
I'm listening.
And it is personal. It is personal. Out of the 18 years that I have been here, I have put my life into this job.
All right. So I don't even know where to take this. It's like, I think I said a show or two ago, it's kind of a cat fight between the ladies. And then when Friday comes in with his passive aggressive deal, that just amps it up. And then none of them seem to have complete answers for anything that's being asked. And then you end up with this right here.
Everybody
When Stephanie, it don't matter.
It doesn't matter when people are calling me and thief.
It's public record, sweetie.
I'm done with this shit. Call it.
Let's call that meeting to order.
Stephanie's done with this bleep, bitty, bleep, bleep, bleep. You see, you didn't know that our show was going to turn into a soap opera deal, did you?
Well, no, I did know, because I'm telling you, I think we have played this, and I think Wes is on the mark here. I mean, I think totality everybody up here is kind of off the mark. And I mean, unprofessional is probably the right word on this thing here. I mean, if you're buying your water from somebody and they're raising the rates on the water, you got to pass those on. I mean, it ain't a matter. Right. Mr. Crouch went up earlier saying that we just don't want to pay more. Well, nobody wants to pay more, but in this case, you got in a damn choice. The only way you can get out of it is you just don't get water. Go buy your bottles at Walmart. That's the only recourse you got here. Yeah. And Wes made the point that, the state mandates you to, calculate in there what the cost of maintaining the system and the purchase and or creation of the water, and you have to maintain that fund. They regulate that and mandate you to have increases or decreases. So you almost don't have a lot of control here. And so I'm scratching my head here. Why are we still talking about this and arguing about this? And to say that and I agree, and I got to just say this, I got to agree with Stephanie. To say that you're having these rate increases, and I'm not sure the context, maybe I should know, but to say that you're having water increases to cover up other things, I would have to take the position that that's a disingenuous statement, because if the math adds up, if it costs this to have the water, and you're
simple
paying
math.
You're paying somebody else for it, how are you covering something else up? I would want to have to see that one, because I don't know, that one's got by me somehow.
Yeah, I agree. And a couple of points like we talked about before. I mean, why hasn't the town of Benton ever put in some type of plan or looked into doing a study or reached out to the Cypress Commission out there and seen about buying water from the water reservoirs that are literally just a couple of miles up the road? Granted, that wouldn't solve their immediate problem. And here's what I'll say too, because Wes is correct. He says, what just happened? Well, what happened is, as far as I can see, the city has not adopted, or the town of Benton has not adopted any type of rules for any meeting or following Robert's Rules of Order, generally speaking, etc., so on and so forth. So again, I will make the suggestion to the aldermen that are watching and will be watching the show. You need to be writing ordinances to get some sort of semblance and control into how these meetings are run. The mayor doesn't have a vote in that. He may have, I'd have to look it up in the Larson deal, he may have veto power on it, but he doesn't have voting power. So the reason that he is spearheading the meetings, and I'm not blaming it all on Mr. Friday either, but the reason those meetings are being run like this is because, as far as I can tell, y'all don't have any semblance of order to these meetings. Or if you do, none of you are following them, and you need to do that. So start writing ordinances. You can look at other cities' ordinances, look at other cities' charters to get some ideas, and look up the relevant laws and statutes and start writing ordinances and fix this problem. So that's my suggestion again, which I think I suggested a couple of shows back. I'm not really going to drag this on anymore. That's pretty much it. It's pretty much a straight up soap opera.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't see anything. I didn't. Anyway.
Nothing earth shattering. No. Again, if you're into the drama side of it, it's entertaining. If you're into the did they really do this at a meeting side of it, well, there's your answer.
So Bossier City was a little bit more colorful than what Benton was today. And colorful, I mean, in being green. It was all green in Bossier.
Money, 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 money. Well, shall we start with the budget, or you want to just start with being a chiropractor?
Well, we could start with being a chiropractor, or we could start with the beginning of the agenda. And in the beginning of the agenda is $4 million.
Oh, well, yeah, I agree. Let's start there. So give me just a second. Let me get that queued up. I got to clear a couple of old screenshots off of here. And let me see if I can get this agenda to load up. It was a large file.
Like 200 and something pages. And
it was like 100 and something megs. I compressed it down to 23. So the city of Bossier needs to learn how to compress PDFs, but that's a whole other subject.
Yeah, so I think we may have mentioned in a previous show, so a lot of you may or may not be familiar with, but the city is purchasing the building. You know how when you go over the overpass on Benton Road right there before you get to the heart of Bossier, and you got McDonald's there, Azaroos, and all those different little things. Well, there's a 2-story building. I think General Dynamics was in it, and
right.
I think we briefly talked about that building that the city was going to buy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry for Bo and all the dogs going nuts.
That's
I can't
okay.
mute myself right now.
They're doing their job.
Maybe the black helicopters are swooping in, or my perimeter is being reached. They'll meet teeth. They meet my gun.
Maybe they're out there cutting your water off. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? So anyway, we had some people asking us some questions saying, man, why the city's paying a whole lot more money for that property than what it was actually for sale for. And
yeah, well, let me just touch on that. So got a phone call and some messages that apparently some local business folks that had looked at that property, I guess fairly recently or whatever, said, hey, the basic premise was, why is the city paying $4 million for something that's worth, I don't know, 2.8 or 3 million or whatever the number was. And why are they even buying that? It's not laid out, conducive to what they're trying to buy it for and all that. So.
Yeah. And so, I had to kind of go look it up myself. So, I went to two different things and yeah, let's go to that link first, so there may be, people may be confused about what we're talking about here. I mean, we're talking about $4 million, the city of Bossier money. So y'all should be concerned on it. And I think, Rex, if you click on, there's like in that image flow there's about maybe 16 photos.
Right.
That's the exterior of the building. It used to be a bank a long time ago. And you can see the pictures on the inside. There's a lot of upgrades on the inside. Nice furniture and stuff like that. And it's really nice. We were told that it was going to need a lot of work and stuff, but from what I'm seeing in the pictures, I'm not seeing it's going to need a whole lot of work.
Well, it depends. Now, I forget, what specifically is the city going to use this for?
Well,
do you remember off the top of your head? Because my memory is fading just a little bit on this.
Well, there were going to be there's multiple, things like the Council on Aging that the city, services that the city supports for, and as well as like the water department and billing, like you're going to be able to the drive-through deal. No longer will you have to park out in the parking lot and walk and go through security to go inside to pay your water bill or kind of do some of those things. You'll be able to go in the drive-through and send it through the drive-through. That's one thing.
Okay.
There's going to be some different aspects of public safety that are going to be in there. There's going to be a bunch of different assets that are going to be moved into this thing and consolidated from where they're being supported by other standalone buildings. So now this one I learned, and this come from a totally different source, but also in this agenda, you saw the council approved, and I'm not really moving on from here, but the council approved updating the council chambers, right? So while the council chambers is under construction, it's going to have to go somewhere to have those meetings, right? Well, I have it on pretty good authority that there's probably going to be some council meetings are going to be conducted in this building once this goes through and all those things happen at the same time. Now, that's not why they're buying it, but it's going to be a number of uses that are going to come through this thing. So,
okay.
If you go back to off of the pictures page on that link, I think they had it listed in here. I think it's down on the bottom left in the numbers there.
Yeah,
maybe.
Let me see if I can resize this just a little bit where we can kind of get more of it. Just bear with me for a second here where we can kind of get more of it in there.
I think it says about maybe 3.25 or 3.5 million or something like that is what, and this was, some real estate company or whatever had it listed. What does it say?
Right, so it's 34,290 square feet. Over 3.4 million in extensive phased renovations to the entire building completed in 2018. Okay. Price per square foot, $109.36.
So yeah, and I think it may not be in there, but I think the number was like there was 3.5 million or something like that. So now somebody was telling us that it was advertised for 2.8 million, and the city paid 4 million for it, right? And that
according to this source, they were very interested in buying it and apparently had entered into some semblance of negotiations. And I don't know where that ended up. But anyway, yeah, so it's showing the price right here. I'm sorry, I missed it just a second ago, Duke. It's showing the price right here at $3.75 million.
3.75 million? Okay.
Yes.
So now if you will skip ahead to cut 1, you'll see that I put it in the folder.
All right,
There actually, I did come across a listing where it showed it being for sale for 2.8 million. So with the 4 million price tag, you figure after real estate commission, that's probably, bumps it up there probably about right to 4 million, at being at 3.7. But as you can see right there on that Zillow ad, it somewhere in there, the price is in there. I can't see it.
Yeah, it's upper left. Hold on, let me get a little arrow right there. 2.8.
Yeah, so it actually said 2.8.
Yeah.
So I don't know why or what the I don't know about that, but clearly whoever gave us that information, they were right in that there was an ad that had it listed for 2.8 million.
Well, this person said that a group of business folks, including this person, had gone out there and gone through the building, looked at the interior, and it didn't seem to them to be very conducive to the office space that they needed, and that's where they got the 2.8 number. And according to this person, when they were kind of negotiating or whatever transpired, that it could have been had for probably a lot less at that point. But I guess when the city gets involved, well, there's all of our tax dollars. So, hey, let's run up the price. I don't know if that's what happened, but that's just what I'm surmising. So maybe it's been nearly 4 million all along.
Yeah. So on the agenda today, I mean, and I didn't get to watch the meeting into its fullest, but I'm sure that this passed without any objection. But 4 million from the Parkway Capital LCDA Fund, 2018 LCDA funds.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I saw it, but I wasn't specifically looking for that. Because I hadn't gone through the whole meeting.
Well, and if we go back to the PDF of the agenda and jump to page 44, here's where things get interesting. So we were talking about the Council on Aging supposed to be in there, right?
Right. Give me just a second. I'll get that pulled up.
And I may be confusing and mixing things up here just a little bit, but you may or may not have remembered there being a little bit of a kerfuffle about the use, that there was an opinion or an attorney's opinion or something that came out that was saying that you can't use those monies for certain things. They can't be used to allocate space for private entities. That includes 501c3s. And that actually is in here as well. So I think if you go to page 44 through 45.
All right, give me a second. Take me a second to jump up there. 42 through 45, you said? Or 44? Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. There's 42.
44.
44, sorry. I can't exactly look at the notes and this at the same time. All right, here we go. 44.
Yeah, and so then the man, I may be in the wrong place. Let's see. Yep, that's going to be the wrong place. I don't know why I put that one. But the legal counsel page that gave the advice, go to page 51, scroll forward, and that's exactly where it's at.
Okay. That one right there.
Yeah. So, Amanda, as discussed last week, the city made various covenants and representations in connection with the issuance of the Louisiana Governmental Environmental Facilities and Community Development Authority of this revenue bond, City of Bossier City Project, Series 2018 bonds. The Series 2018 bonds were issued as tax exempt, blah, blah, blah. Accordingly, the city agreed pursuant loan agreement, the tax exemption certificate and agreement, proceeds 20, blah, 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 blah. I represented, or any action which would jeopardize the tax exempt status of Series 18 bonds. Specifically, the city represented that it did not expect to enter into any contracts or agreements related to operation or maintenance of the financial facilities, and agreed that it would not allow the financed facilities to be used in a manner that would result in the Series 2018 bonds being characterized as private activity bonds. Use by any private person or entity, including a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, constitutes private use under the code, so the use of a portion of the building by the Council on Aging may cause the Series 2018 bonds to be characterized as private activity bonds. While there is a mechanism by which the Series 2018 bonds could be converted to qualified private activity bonds, this would require various public hearings, consents, document amendments, and opinions of council. Then we've got all of this redacted. I'm dying to know what's redacted.
Top secret.
I mean, what the heck?
Well, okay. So I guess the argument could be made. Well, the city's looking at buying that building, so they need to have a competitive advantage over this other group of folks that we were talking about that might be interested in buying it. I don't know. I still say that everything should be out and open when it's a government entity, with the exception of military secrets. That's it.
Yeah,
but I digress.
agree.
That's a whole other can of worms.
So, and admittedly, they may have had this debate at the council meeting and talked about this and explained it a little bit more. And they go on within this budget, and they end up, in this council meeting, and they end up, talking about the money that they passed another agreement to where they're allocating however much money per year this year and even 2026. I think I saw the number being approximately 100,000 this year. Then in 2026, it increases maybe to 150,000. And then after that, the number comes back down. So they're moving things around quite a bit. And I don't 100% know what's going on here, but I don't think it's really nothing super nefarious. I think they tried to move real fast. They didn't have all their ducks in a row, and they're cleaning it up. Now, as to the 4 million versus the 2.8 million, I don't know. I mean,
what's a few million among friends? I mean, it's not like they could use the money for pay raises or anything like that they, did without really figuring out how they were going to do it.
And it seems like I just find it hard to believe that the city would pay $4 million for the building when they could have got it for 2.8.
Oh, but did you not see Mr. Marriott's comment that he reminded us of? I'm just going to point out the tower of tax dollars. God, are you saying the city's actually going to try to save money where they can? Remember, Duke, they don't shop around.
Well, I know they don't shop, but I'm just saying
it's a leftover vestige from the prior council. They ain't shopping around.
Yeah, but you can't really shop around for that. I mean, that's a lot of square foot. There's not many buildings like that around. There's really not.
I agree.
That is a unique deal right there.
I'm going back to my other premise, and I won't beat this dead horse too much. If the city was growing and we needed more space for administration, aside from the Council on Aging, I would be more not against this. That's the right way to put it. But the city is not growing, and we already have plenty of space, apparently, at City Hall.
Well, I'm not worried about 4 million. I'm not worried about 4 million. And y'all are going like, what is wrong with Duke?
Yeah.
I'm worried about somewhere along the lines of 30 million. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not.
Wait, are they going to try to build a YMCA again? Now, what's the deal?
Did I say anything?
Are we getting pickleball over here?
Did I say anything about the YMCA? I didn't say a word, but I'm just saying it seems like we had a budget thing today, and you go adding a bunch of numbers together, and it just sure seems like it all ends up landing around that same number. But yet, I don't know. And so let's move on. Let's get past this thing.
All right. Well, look,
4 million and 2.8 million. I seen the ad myself. I seen the 4 million right here in this council meeting. I seen the ad on Zillow, 2.8 million. I don't know how to resolve that.
Well, look, if Wes says he still thinks it's a good investment based on what they're planning, it must be good because he's as critical of the city council as anybody. So if Wes says it's a good idea, it must be good. The city must be growing by leaps and bounds, and we need all this new administrative room to be able to do all these services for all these people that are just piling into Bossier City.
Right. I mean,
but I digress.
We've got chiropractors trying to come into Bossier, and we're saying no. Absolutely not.
Yeah, we're getting to the chiropractor. Wes says pickleball is only 10 million. But Wes, that's on the other side of the river. If we do it on this side of the river, like that tower of tax dollars and everything else, we're going to do it right. Ain't going to be no $10 million pickleball court over here. We're going first class.
No doubt about it. Can't be beat by Shreveport. That ain't happening.
All right. But anyway, all right. I'll stop with the little tangents and smart assness.
Yeah. So somewhere else here in this agenda, I mean, there's a little bit of money going towards a water line. I don't remember the page number exactly, maybe 33 through 42. But
well, let me see if I can get over there real quick. Maybe.
For those of you Benton folk that are watching, ding, 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 the city of Bossier is coming. The city of Bossier is coming. So while you're arguing about whether or not you're going to increase or decrease something that you don't have any control over in the first place, while y'all are up there splitting hairs, Bossier City's making moves. Waterline, Swan Lake, Dean Point Road, waterline extension right here. I mean, that sure is pushing on. Dean Point Road, you know where that's at, Rex? That's almost a Willow Chute.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Think about that. I mean, I ain't saying Bossier City's going to take anything in up there, but boy, I'll tell you, I mean.
Could that word annex be coming into play?
I'm just saying, I know in the past, a lot of councilmen, the older councilmen, as some of them coined the graybeards, they were not fans of expanding the city limits, and part of the reason why they were because supporting, new subdivisions, when you start talking about sidewalks, lights, public safety, the services that a city is supposed to provide, and that you have to provide, you outrun your ability to support those things because you don't have the revenue coming in to support it.
But see, that's a perfect segue, Mr. Lowry, because I just thought of a point based on what you said and based on Mr. Crockett. The Colonel says it was that building or build a new building, talking about the one we were just, or the city's looking at. And then you mentioned, that maybe an annexation or something is in the works. Well, they need to do something to increase the city tax rolls, because guess what's going to happen to that building's tax? It's coming off the tax roll when the city owns it. Oh, we didn't consider that point, did we?
What's the taxes on 4 million? I mean,
it's not just 4 million. You know how the ad valorem taxes work. It's all the equipment and everything, including the telephone lines in there.
Yeah, well, they're probably going to sell all that anyway.
Probably so, but I'm just saying. You're taking one out. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's not a huge amount, but remember, in the big scheme of things, businesses pay the vast majority of taxes. They just do.
Well, I something in the back of my head screams at me that Bossier Parish is on the fast track to a parish government. A whole.
Wait, what?
The whole.
This is newsflash to me. All right, so
I'm just making a
no,
few points here. That
you got my interest piqued here.
Well, I'm just saying, it just sure seems like a lot of interesting things that could be moving in the direction of, a parish government where you don't necessarily have, I mean, things in the city of Bossier would become governed by, a parish governing body.
Kind of like New Orleans has.
I don't know. It's New Orleans. I'm trying to think of the parish, and I don't know. It was just sitting here in the back of my head.
Well, hey, it's plausible. Anything's plausible around here.
I need to start fishing a little bit.
Yeah, refine your theory just a little bit.
Yeah. So, I think the next issue, and we talked about chiropractors, and I mean, there's some chiropractors around town, but we're fixing to have another one right there on Benton Road. And you and I talked about, we knew we had heads up that this was an issue coming, page 84.
All right.
And 2290 Benton Road. So,
yeah, I'm jumping up to that page real quick and then I'll switch screens. Did you say 84 or 94? I'm sorry. 90?
84.
84. Okay, it'll take me just a second to get there because I got to click. All right, yeah, let me hit publish and boom. All right. Yeah, and I've got this queued up in the video. We don't even have to pull it up in the video. I've got some thoughts on this, but go right ahead, Mr. Lauer. Get us started down this pathway of chiropractic.
Well, we talked about how that put yourself, and we gave everybody kind of like a heads up on an issue that I'm getting a lot of people texting me some different parishes. Like one person texted me Jefferson Parish. I have East Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Terrebonne. There are a lot. I knew that, but I just, for whatever reason, I couldn't get it in my mind. Maybe it's because I got 100 people texting me.
Yeah, ignore the phone or you will get stung by wasps, Mr. Lowry.
Yeah, I'm not griping, but I got a lot of different texts. Anyway, so we talked about it because we had heads up and we said, okay, y'all think about this situation, and we kind of went through it and showed you, that the residential house, kind of right there off of Benton Road, right next to Scotto's, garage, where they work on the cars there. Kind of across the street from Green Acres Office Plaza, or maybe across the street from Harlan Bean's old house. But, all along Benton Road through that stretch north to I-220 there, those are all residential houses along Benton Road. And it's conceivable to me at some point, everything up and down through there is going to be commercial. And the volume of traffic, I mean,
Well, all right, but did you watch any of the meeting?
I already said earlier that I didn't. I started watching, but then I had to go away.
Okay, so I'm just going to summarize real quick. Carlotta was there from the MPC, and she was asked specifically about, does the MPC, allow or whatever businesses in neighborhoods and all that. And her response was, they do in certain cases when it's on the edge of a subdivision, that generally if it's, a house in the middle of a subdivision, they're not going to allow that to turn into a business. And this is certainly on the edge of that subdivision. So just throwing that out there since you hadn't seen the meeting. And again, I was listening to it live and then trying to get us ready, and well, I just ran out of time. So
yeah, so I mean, there was a lot of work put into this thing, and you had residents from the subdivision that came up that, you had some that said they had opposition to it. You had some, I saw bits and pieces of it. I didn't see all of it to its completeness. And then you had, some people were in favor of it that didn't have a problem with it. And,
well, but some of our council members, and again, I'd have to go through the video and find them real quick. I'm not going to do that. So I'll just generally say, without calling them out by name right now, they were griping about the safety factor. Now, the chiropractor, the business owner, said he was absolutely fine, and the NBC and the DOT had already approved curb cuts so that there would be no entrance from the street side, only from the Benton Road side. Okay.
Correct, and if you keep scrolling, there's maps in this whole deal showing where they've X'd this thing out. I guess whoever bought this, like, pay up to page 98. Where they X'd out. They even took out a sidewalk, a little thing where you walk from the street to the building there, where there was a sidewalk, and it's got a big old page 98. It's got a big old here. They're taking the sidewalk out to where you can't even come in off of Douglas Drive. You can't even walk to the place off of Douglas Drive, much less drive to it.
Well, now there was a question asked of, hey, can people still, because it's a residential neighborhood, can people still parallel park along the street on the Douglas Drive side? And the answer was, well, yeah, it would be up to the chiropractor, the property owner, to, kind of, put up signs or whatever. Hey, please don't parallel park. But legally, people could, because it's a city street, and that is certainly not illegal to do. So, but here's the thing where they got on this safety kick. And again, I'll go pull the clips and do some, short videos on it. But they were all concerned about the city, and Maggio, and who was wearing shades in the city council meeting today. He was wearing sunglasses. Maybe he's got something wrong with his eyes. About, but do you know how dangerous it is pulling in and out of there and pulling in and out of Douglas Drive? And if they do curb cuts and, and I'm thinking, I measured it on Google Maps, less than 500 feet from where the existing driveway is on the Benton Road side, and then the proposed curb cuts, however they redo that. Less than 500 feet, there are businesses there. There's a new collision place and a couple other businesses there where people are pulling in and out all the time. What a stupid line of questioning.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to the council members who brought it up, because I like all of y'all, but that was a ridiculous line of questioning.
Yeah, so, I mean, cars can still park on the sidewalk over there. I mean, on the side of the road there, and whether it's residential or not. And I mean, is everybody going to gripe because people, if they have this residential house? What if the guy that owns his house and turns it into a rent house, and multiple tenants? Is it okay for it to be a business and a rent house there? Is that okay?
Well, I mean, that is a good question. I guess.
What about an apartment complex?
I don't think it would be zoned that way.
Well, it's residential. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of wondering. I'm thinking I might tear that house down and build a 2-story apartment complex there.
Yeah, maybe so. So I'm trying to change this text real quick. I can't see it. There we go. Text color. Because we had a question about who's the chiropractor. There, Dr. Kyle Wanneberg, I think I'm saying his name correct. He is the chiropractor, and I think he's got a massage therapist or something in there. Hey, here's the problem. They voted 5-2 to shut it down. And I don't know what he's going to do with that building now, because I can't see anybody building house there or updating or remodeling that house right there. Maybe so, but it's been sitting there apparently for 5 or 6 years vacant now, maybe longer. And now he's got this property that, what's he going to do?
Yeah, I mean, it seems interesting to me that, this was going to be a pro-business council, and it seems that it's going to be an anti-business council, because, look, if you scroll through to page, I think it is 117, and as I appreciate it, every one of the properties here listed in this thing are all businesses that are right along Benton Road in relation to this area, and have residential stuff adjoining it. And somebody,
really?
and the only reason I paid attention to this because somebody said, "Hey, I saw Acadiana Mortgage listed in there," and I was like, "What? Wait, what? What?" And then I got to thinking about it. Well, that's right. Behind my office is residential. Granted, they're all rent houses, but
Still residential.
It's still residential, but at the same time, that's business as well.
Well, and look, I get the other side that, the folks in the, old Green Acres area may not want another business right there. And arguably, if he had a couple of customers and somebody came up and parallel parked right there on the Douglas Drive side, that could interfere with traffic a little bit. I mean, there is a little bit of that, but the whole safety factor thing of it to me was just not only a moot point, but a stupid point. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, I agree. Well, interestingly, they had another approval to come up right after that, a little further up on Benton Road, and it wasn't just a slam dunk slamming the door on that one. And this property and a lot just right up by Brownlee Road, they built the bank on the corner right there.
Right.
I'm trying to think. What was on that corner before they built the bank? Seems like I remember there being a residential property on that corner. They bulldozed the house.
He said in the meeting, the property owner said he did bulldoze the house. I'm paraphrasing here, so y'all don't excoriate me in the comments.
No. That he did on the property of this guy that's trying to do this project,
Okay.
but where the bank is up there on the corner, if I recall correctly, before that bank was built, there was a residential house there. If I'm remembering right, I may not be remembering right. Because I think there was somebody years ago when I was a fireman that was cooking turkeys up there and selling turkeys out of their residential house, and they caught their turkey fryer on fire, and it about burnt the damn house down. Not saying nothing about a business in residential and all, but anyway.
Okay. All right. So yeah, there was a little bit of tit for tat on that. That one ended up, they sent it back to the MPC for a different classification. I think instead of B3, B2, or instead of B2, B3, or whatever the deal was going to be. I'm not sure on the zoning classifications. I'm no expert on that.
Yeah. So, not identical, but a similar discussion. It's along Benton Road. It adjoins residential, and we're gonna maybe let this one go, but you're not down here. I mean, I don't know how you balance it. I get it. The thing on Benton Road is right next to a lot bigger subdivision. I mean, but I don't know.
And that guy's putting was it a strip mall or something he's wanting to put up there?
He's wanting to put a strip mall in.
And interestingly, the chiropractor got up and spoke in favor of him being able to do that, but reminded the city council that it was basically the same thing.
And if memory serves me correctly, there may be some other cases. Here's where I see this going, and I think it may have been Wes in the comments or somebody. I think the city's fixing to find themselves in the same position that the parish has found themselves regarding trying to limit and prevent people from being able to, do businesses and same. They might want to phone somebody in Benton and get some advice on navigating this thing because I think that's where they're heading.
Sounds like it. It's just a mess. Now, I will say that although I think some of the comments in the city council meeting were just ridiculous, and they weren't bad overall, I'm just saying I think that they were ridiculous. I will say I did appreciate the dialogue back and forth among the councilmen. And I got to say, even though, I mean, it's no skin off of my back either way. I don't know this chiropractor. I don't live in Green Acres and, or anything like that. But I did appreciate the fact that all the council people were respectful, even when they didn't agree, and they didn't all vote lock, stock, and barrel either on that particular issue. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there.
I'm a little mistaken. It's even worse than that. Go to page 140.
Oh, uh-oh. Let's see here. Hold on, folks. Oh, passed it.
Yeah, so you see right there, right in the middle, B3, right on Brownlee Road, the white going through the middle of the red stripe, that's Benton Road, you know, and
right.
Anyway, and you see B3, the biggest block of B3, the site they're talking about is just above that, and I think it goes all the way back.
Yeah, because they were talking about the SWEPCO power substation or whatever's right there. Yeah,
that's on the north side of it. So it's not next to any residential along Benton Road, none whatsoever. Now, there are some houses right there behind it, off of Brownlee into there. No, yeah. Well, SWEPCO is already right there along that road. That's business.
Yeah.
So, but I'm talking in the back of it on the east side there.
Yeah. Yeah. All this red would be business, correct?
Well, no, those are all residential. Move your cursor over where it says RLD.
Yeah, right here.
Nope. Up, right there. All of that is zone residential. But I don't think there's houses all in there. I think all of that is cleared.
Yeah, I of course you would know more than me because you travel that way pretty much every day or many days a week. So
yeah, so there would be a few houses right there. You know, the interesting thing in all of these, I would be interested to know if the property adjoining the house right next to Douglas, if that's a rental house or if any of these are rent houses. That would be interesting to know.
Yeah, it would. So I was gonna pull up Google Satellite View, remembering that Google Satellite View is, of course, not in real time, but at least it will give us a little better picture of it.
Well, you can keep scrolling. They got plenty of maps, but on here I don't.
But there's an Exxon station right there at Brownlee Road. Is that Bank of Coshada that's there right now? I'm looking at this right now on Google Maps. Mike's Automotive is just right immediately south of that Brownlee and the Exxon station. Hold on a second. So you can see, is that the property that they're talking about?
Yeah, right there. That house though is not there. They bulldozed that house and cleaned it off, and it.
Yeah. And so I'm just looking over here. Let me see. I got to get on the right screen. So you can see there's where the residential houses are.
Yeah, and you see that row of green. I think that's like a big bayou. There's a perimeter, you know, right there that would be between anything. I mean, the only real kind of property that would be just to the north of it, right there, and to the right of your cursor. That residential property that comes off of Benoist right there would be the only one.
Yeah. Oops.
But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Just wanted to pull it up just to show everybody. All right.
So the workshop afterwards. Now this was the part that interested me the most. I mean, you know, a lot of squabbling over these property things and all this. Oh, it's a shame. You should have went to page 150. They actually got some pictures. Yeah, go to 152. There you go.
Yeah.
There's the property off Benton Road we're talking about.
Okay. Well. Yeah. So yeah, it's not really the same situation as a chiropractor. I mean, technically it's very similar, but different. It's the same, only different. All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to jump to the budget workshop? I did timestamp a couple of things in there, but I hadn't really gone through it. So one of the things that I timestamped, let me Let me adjust the screen. Everybody bear with me just a second. Sometimes this kind of messes it up temporarily for a second. There we go. Okay. Again, I started watching this. It got to be boring. I had other things to do. I came back to it. I made a couple of quick pointers in here, but listen to what Amanda says the budget is based on. Of course, we already know this, so it's not anything groundbreaking, but here we go.
Another exciting one. This budget is based on, the revenue is based on rolling property millages forward. However, as we experienced this year, that may not be necessary.
Wait a
I do
minute.
want you to know that the revenue
Wait a minute.
Did I just throw you for a loop?
Play that again?
Oh, here we go.
Another exciting one. This budget is based on, the revenue is based on rolling property millages forward. However,
Okay.
as we...
Isn't that tax increases?
Yes, technically it is. Now, to be clear so that everybody is crystal clear in the comments that's watching, they can't roll forward past the previously approved maximum millage that was approved by voters, but they can roll forward up to that maximum millage, which we all know Tommy and his administration proposed, and the council resoundingly shot that down once it got widespread on social media and elsewhere that that's what was going to happen, or that's what they were going to attempt.
But here we are, and they're saying the quiet part out loud kind of this time around.
Yes. And speaking of quiet part out loud, I'm going to jump forward just about a minute. Listen to this comment.
Let's see. The majority of the Parkway Capital Fund will be transferred to general fund to cover the increased expenses. Part of that is due to those pay raises that were not recognized in this year's budget. And then,
did you catch that? I mean, it's just moving money around to pay for the pay raises because they didn't really plan for that.
Well, so we're back to trying to figure out how to pay for all them pay raises. It seems funny. I do remember that being a question back. How we gonna pay for all this? Ain't that if you're gonna go eat at Silver Star or wherever, you probably better figure out how you're gonna pay for it before you go there, right?
Yeah, that would generally be a good idea. All right, so speaking of, well, paying for things or whatever, and I just got started into this comment right before the show, but Hammonds was asking about the Bossier Medical Center.
Let's start with this hard one here, the $18 million from the sale of Bossier Medical Center.
yes, sir.
Back in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that money also serves as a backup and also serves as a backup for our bond rating, correct?
It is included in, they look at that.
So
but I
we
think
removed that $18 million, and I mean, $18 million can go quickly.
Well, and like I said, it would allow the council to establish the trust by ordinance so that we would be able to use a portion of those proceeds if you so chose. But you could still establish that threshold if you left it at 15 million.
We're making on average, what, 3.25%, 3.5% on that money a year, correct?
And we would still be able to earn interest on that.
Okay,
like
so
we do with our
stop the presses here. So what we're talking about here is Mayor Chandler's administration is proposing to put some proposition forward to a lot of you may or may not know the sale of Bossier Medical Center. They took that money, they stuck it into a trust, and it can only be spent on public safety related things, right? So they use the interest off of that to pay for, public safety salaries and things like that. It's always there. But in addition, what they're talking about here is that is looked upon as being a asset of the city. And when people, bond people make the determination to give bonds to the city for projects and all of that, they look at your assets and they look at whether or not, you got cash, you got reserves, you got this stuff. So along comes Mayor Chandler, and for some reason, we want to go tap into this 18 million and we want to set it free. And then she says, to his question, you can by ordinance decide, what you want to spend and what you don't want to spend. Now, I would concede they could take the 18 million, put it somewhere else and get more, maybe get a better return on the money as an investment. But I just want to see a show of hands of everybody who believes that if you said, okay, Bossier City Hall, we trust you to take that 18 million and use it wisely and not invest a large portion of it in the parking lot fund. How many of y'all believe that?
Well,
just let's see a show of hands.
Funny you should ask. So let me back up to the kind of beginning part of this workshop, and let's let Miss Amanda Nottingham tell you what they want to raid that fund for. Here we go.
One of the significant requests that we would have is related to the Public Health and Safety Trust Fund that was created in 1999 from the sale of Bossier Medical Center. That went to a vote of the people, and it would require the same threshold to go to the public for a vote to undo. It's a permanent trust fund, and so we are only allowed to spend the interest earned on the $18 million that was from the proceeds of the sale. And we would like to undo the permanent trust, which would then give the council the authority to control that fund and set a different threshold, but it would allow us to use some of that trust fund for these purposes, for purposes of public health and safety. One being to fully fund our health insurance fund that was established by Ordinance 156 of 2023. So we have a threshold set there, $2.5 million. We are only on our second year into this alternative funding health plan, and so we have about $500,000 in that fund, and it would allow us to get that fully funded, and then that gives the city a little more control over future expenses.
There you go, Mr. Lowry. See, you were wondering about that, and there you go.
Well, she is absolutely right. It would help you to get control of your spending and expenses if you've got just a big old pot of money that you can go to whenever you want. But probably the only freaking reason you tell me, if it wasn't mandated for it to be in this trust fund, do you think there would still be $18 million sitting in there? No, it would be gone. And the wedge here is you're pitting, the health insurance problem of and they're saying that they're not saying public safety, they're saying the city insurance, in which when I hear that, I'm thinking everybody, but dog catcher to Amanda to Tommy, but if I don't know how they're going to get around, it being used for health and safety. Because it was always supposed to be for public safety, fire and police sort of. But I think that's the wedge, is to get all the city employees on board on this thing to try to push it.
Hold on, listen to this. I'm searching this and doing it in real time, so I think this quote might be relevant. Here we go.
All right. Just to keep everything, that way we don't get off track.
Like that.
Then general insurance, we talked a lot about that last year. And that was one of the expenses that we saw that was going to be unsustainable in the future. An internal review, Ms. Williamson and our risk manager with our insurance agent, they did an extensive review, and they were able to adjust some of our policies and coverages to match what the city needs rather than, I would say we were overinsured.
Sure.
And that resulted in...
That's an interesting choice of terms. I wonder who the city's insurance was with.
A savings of, in all, over $3.5 million, but I think it was over $2.5 million in just the premiums alone. And
so that's right after she was just talking about the Bossier Medical. I think that was still relevant to the Bossier Medical situation, but either way, they overpaid $2.5 million in premiums. Who was making the commissions on those premiums?
I don't. Did she really say they overpaid $2.5 million?
Well, hold on.
Or did she say it was $2.5 million in premiums?
What the city needs rather than, I would say we were overinsured. And that resulted in a savings of, in all, over $3.5 million, but I think it was over $2.5 million in just the premiums alone. And
a savings of $2.5 million in just the premiums alone because they were overinsured. Now I can't.
Oh yeah, I'm all in on letting them have 18 million. Let's just cut it from being protected in a trust fund and just give it to them.
So they can overpay for statues, insurance premiums. Pick your poison here. Look,
yeah.
I don't want to throw the new city council under the bus because I trust them obviously more than the prior council. But still, the track record for Bossier City is not that stellar.
Yeah, and look, I will concede the city's health insurance. It's a joke. It is. It
Really?
is not good. I mean, yeah, it is not good. It's horrible, and it needs something addressed. It needs something done to address that problem. But going and pulling from this trust fund money, there's consequences for doing that. And if you put your faith in government, I mean, to spend your money wisely, you're in for a rude awakening. We have sat here on this show and we have seen countless times that they have let us down. I mean, and parking lot gate is the most recent one on that deal. I mean,
Right.
how much
money?
Yeah,
I forgot about parking lots.
How much money will they spend that we may or may not even know about, that just slides under the radar? And so I can't see this. And if you're public safety, and I know, like, I think I'm pretty confident when I say this, that EMT pay and stuff like that comes out of this pot of money. Well, when you pull all of this out, and then once these politicians piss through it, I mean, all down the road, that extra money per month, for paramedic, EMT, and all the different special operations things, when that money's gone, guess what? You're going to have to find another source of revenue to pay for those things. And that means you're fixing to go to the public and ask for, we're already asking for tax increases. But yet, Jeff
speaking of paying for things,
put out a good article earlier showing that it looks like the revenues are coming in and all things are kind of equal, but we're asking for more money, and it hinges on a tax increase.
Yeah, and he put that article out not long before the show, so we hadn't had a chance to go all through it. I will post it on Bossier Watch. But speaking of doing things and then figuring out how you're going to pay for them, let's listen to just a minute about the salary increases. Here we go.
The salary increases, we do have this one was a little bit difficult in the presentation. So last year, we did significant salary increases for all of the employees. However, when the budget was adopted, a portion of those raises, we took that from fund balance to cover those. And so they weren't recognized, all of them weren't recognized in the 2025 budget. They are all recognized in the 2026 budget. And so it looks like a significantly larger amount than what employees will actually see in 2026. So for 2026, the budgeted increases are 2% for fire, police, and for municipal employees. And so the total, you can see the breakdown for police and fire combined, it's a little over $800,000. And then municipal employees is $333,000. So all total, it was a little over 1.1 million for, I guess, that would be new increases for employees. And of course, as you know, with civil service, fire, and police, those are state mandated increases.
All right. So, and I don't want to take us off track, but I just got a message in our Proton mail says, and I haven't confirmed this, maybe somebody knows, there are several group homes on Douglas Drive for special needs folks as well. Does anybody know if that's the case? Not that I care about special needs homes or anything like that. It's just the fact that that's kind of relevant to the chiropractor situation. But anyway.
Well, I can tell you, I know for a fact that there is in Tillman Drive, there's quite a few within Old Green Acres Place. Actually, there's quite a few.
So I don't know if they qualify those as, businesses per se, but just somebody wanted to point that out via Proton mail. All right. So that's all I've been through with this budget workshop. Is there anything in particular you want to take a look at, Mr. Lowry, that we can try to find?
No, but just the obvious thing is that we, here we are, we're talking about tax increases, and you start adding all this stuff together, and it sure looks like we're trying to raise revenues and we're trying to tap into savings. And when I say the 18 million, we're trying to tap into it. I would like to hear that part again. I mean, because I think they had some dialogue at the beginning with Amanda about how much money they make when he was talking about the 3% that they get and how much money actually that 18 million is gaining them. And I am pretty confident. I'm pretty confident that, we'll come back to that. We'll do a little homework.
Yeah, I was going to say probably what we need to do is have time to go completely through that. And then next week, we'll kind of go through that workshop a little more in depth. So that's about all I've got for tonight. What else have you got, Mr. Lowry? Anything else?
Well, I just am happy to report that at the conclusion of the meeting that I was supposed to speak at to try to gain favor from a group of people in Illinois, the voting members that voted was 92 for, 12 against, and 5 neutral. We won in a good way. Resounding.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's always a good thing. So, yeah. Well, that's over on and speaking of that, so I'll just ask you while we're here tonight, have you and Josh discussed when or if there's going to be the next podcast in the Flyway series over on the Outdoor News side? We hadn't done one in a couple of weeks.
We have not. We haven't discussed it, but I will tell you that it's a project that, as you full well know, that I have been working on, and it's a project with national implications. And that's part of what I'm talking about being in, I was requested to be in Illinois to speak and to speak on this subject. And we are winning. I've been on the phone with somebody out of DC, and So no, I haven't, because I've had my heels dug into dealing with this thing, so I haven't had time to work on that. But we need to do that because we've got some good things to report. Really do.
Okay.
So if you're a waterfowl hunter and you're mad that you're not killing any teal because teal season just opened, and I've heard nothing but horrible reports. In Louisiana, one of the lodges, I'll say it that way, that is the most heralded lodge in Louisiana, that during teal season, and this is an egregious number, they always average, 500 to 1,000 birds during teal season. And you got to understand, teal season is very, very short. It's a short window.
Right.
It's like a week to 2 weeks. And opening day, out of like 10 blinds with about 5 people per blind, you know how many they killed?
That's terrible.
Yeah. So a lot of people, y'all may not be a duck hunter and you're wondering, but look, here's the deal. We're the sportsman's paradise, right? I mean,
Supposed to be.
Supposed to be. Everybody wants to come to Louisiana to hunt and fish and all, but it's changed. It used to be that we had we had in excess of 100,000 waterfowl hunters, in Louisiana. I mean, that was the average. We were number one in harvest. We wintered the most migratory waterfowl of any state in the union, and there's some things that happened along the way that changed that, and waterfowl stopped migrating to Louisiana. And now our waterfowl numbers are around 40,000. So that means we've lost approximately 60,000 waterfowl hunters. So you say, I don't care about waterfowl hunting. That don't mean nothing to me. Well, let me put this in perspective for you. In 2003, waterfowl hunting alone had an economic impact of 14 million to the state of Louisiana. Just waterfowl hunting alone. In 2003, fast forward that to now, 22 years later, what that 14 million would be. I mean, it would at least be double.
Right.
And it has all happened. And I will coin the term that waterfowl biologists in the nation used and reported when the federal government made a change in 1998, along with some conservation organizations that I'm not going to mention here. But they slob hunters. And a slob hunter is somebody who they don't care about the resource. They don't care about all they care about is their personal self-interest to go and kill. That is a slob hunter. In fact, I have a slob hunter, Rex, that just put a deer stand on my property line. I have the only woods kind of around me. I've got open fields. There ain't nothing else around me. This slob hunter that lives in Bossier City that knows me came and put a deer stand right on my property line so he could hunt my property. And he is a slob hunter. Maybe someday I'll tell y'all his name, maybe even show you your picture, because he's probably friends with some of y'all. But that's dirtbag type stuff. And that is a slob.
It is. And, we've got problems all the way around, even on the bass fishing side. I do hunt, just haven't hunted in a long time because I've been focused on bass fishing. So anyway, we would encourage y'all, if you're interested in it somewhat, even if you're not interested in it, go like and follow the Outdoor News on Facebook and on YouTube. And that just helps run our numbers up a little bit, which gets the message out to more people, even if you're not interested. Every little bit, every like and every follow and subscription, even free subscriptions help. So anyway, because Duke and Josh have put together a really good series on all this as far as the hunting goes, and then I have lots of stuff on the fishing side that is coming out and ongoing. And Mr. Lowry, there is I don't know how much of it I can reveal yet, on the largemouth bass side. There is a meeting in October that I am going to concerning black bass, largemouth bass. So,
oh wow, I'd like to hear about that.
As I get some more details, that could help, because not only are we losing duck hunters, we're also slowly but surely losing bass fishermen. And whether you tournament fish or just like to go, fishing for fun, that has a pretty good economic impact as well that is slowly but surely decreasing. So anyway, go over to the Outdoor News, check all that stuff out. And it's just more stuff.
More stuff. It's always more stuff. Yada, 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 yada.
Always more stuff to watch. But hey, at least we have platforms to be able to get this message out, whether it's politics, whether it's outdoors, whether it's, whatever you want it to be. At least we have platforms to get this out. And, if Facebook cancels us, we just go to YouTube and Twitter and X. And if they cancel us, we go to True Social. And if they cancel us, we'll push it out on our own website. It doesn't matter. See, we're not dependent on the networks like Jimmy Kimmel.
Somebody messaged me and they said, my solution for your slob hunter, put up a wall at your property line interdicting the deer stand just off your way. Yes, I spoke to a surveyor today. That is incoming.
Inbound. All right.
Inbound.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody watching, and we will look forward to seeing y'all. Should be next Tuesday night. We're here almost every Tuesday night without fail, with very few exceptions. Mr. Lowry, as always, I appreciate the conversation. We will see everybody next week.
Good night.